Hey, what's going on? Miguel, Lloyd, host of Life Circle Radio. Thank you for joining us this Monday night. We appreciate you giving us a little bit of your time today. If you're not tuning into us live, whenever you tune into us, we appreciate you and all the support. Hashtag LFC Radio. That's how we get down. So today we've got some stuff we want to talk about Trump. Since I was on the show last week, remember I didn't come on last Monday because I was at State Farm Arena losing my mind because it was the biggest hip hop concert in many years. Was here LL Cool J, Rakim. Who else was there? De La Soul, Salt and Pepper, and I'm forgetting somebody. Anyway, it was a dope show. So since then, I was in Phoenix hanging out with my pops. Shout out to my pops, had back surgery. My man's trying to get back on his feet, and I had to be there to hang out with him, just watching TV and talk about what we saw Wednesday, Thursday night, or whenever it was, when Donald Trump was indicted, and he had the parade driving through Atlanta, and supposedly black folks was cheering him on. We're gonna talk about that. Murder spree in Jacksonville, Florida. Edward Waters College was the original target, HBCU in Jacksonville, and unfortunately 3 people lost their lives at the local Family Dollar. And then we've been seeing all the stories that's been running around about Steve Harvey and Marjorie Harvey getting divorced. Please, people, if it ain't coming from a credible source, stop passing that garbage around. Super producer.
What up, what up, what up? Happy Monday.
Happy Monday. You look like somebody just got finished. Were you like somebody just got off a JetBlue flight?
No, I'm telling you, the JetBlue don't care nothing about their customers at all whatsoever. They charge us for a bag, which my white friend, Madeline, did not know. I thought she was going to go full Karen on them people at that airport. She was very upset.
Oh, you ain't never flew JetBlue before. Oh, this how this goes. This how it goes.
The JetBlue flights I used to take when it was kind of nice are completely different than what it is now. JetBlue is the Greyhound of the skies.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's JetBlue. What's the other one, the yellow one? Because there's two of them. Spirit. Maybe it was Spirit that ruined it for everybody else. Because I flew one time on one of those discount airlines, and it was like literally like the plastic seats that you fly on a bus. There was no adjusting the seats. I was sitting straight up like this for the whole flight. I don't know where I was going. I might have been going 10 minutes down the street. I said, I'll never do this again.
Didn't JetBlue buy Spirit? Because that would explain a lot.
One of the two, they merged, and yeah. So anyway, man, I was. But yo, let me tell you before we get into the show. So I'm getting ready to fly. When I'm ready to go to Phoenix, it was a brother that was. I got to my seat, and I thought I had the aisle seat. I'm at the point now. I'm permanently an aisle seat guy, unless I'm a leg room guy, because I'm a big boy, and getting on the side of the window, if I don't have nowhere to stretch my legs, it's a problem. So anyway, I get there to my seat, and I'm thinking I got the aisle, and the dude I'm sitting next to smelled awful. When I say awful, it was like he was big, so he was wider than me, and then he had like a thick shirt on and a jacket, and he had a hat on, and he was trying to mask all that musk, and it was awful. So then the guy came in who I was actually in his seat. He was like, "Oh, dude, I've got the aisle," and I looked. I said, "Yeah, actually, you do." So then I go to try to sit inside on that window seat, and I promise you I was there for a minute and a half. I said, this is not going to work. I've never in my life was like, I will miss this flight. There's no way in the world I'm sitting here for 3.5 hours sandwiched in between the wall of this plane and this musty muskrat of a dude. I went to this. I said, here's the thing. I can't do it. I went to the stewardess like, I can't do it. I can't do it. I said, dude,
were you on the like, he smells like he smells? I'm sorry.
I flat out told him. I said the guy next to me did not take a bath, and I can't do it. Y'all can call me bougie all you want. Hit me in the comments. I do not care. Call me as bougie as you want. I'm a grown ass man. I've been flying and I'm at a point now where I can't do it. And fortunately, thank God that somebody didn't show up, and I ended up getting all the way in the back of the plane. But I was in the aisle seat, and I was fine with it. People,
I don't care nothing about that back of the plane anymore. It used to be a thing we didn't want to be in the back, and now it's like the back of the plane usually be the most chill section. They just happen to be on the flight.
Well, I was one of those happy to be on the flight and away from that musty dude, and I kind of felt bad for the dude who I left up there because even at that point, when the window aisle was open, dude didn't want to move. He said, "Did my seat," because he didn't speak English. And so anyway, all right. So let's move on. Now that I've told you about my musty trip coming this way. So this has been a week. Donald Trump has been indicted here in the lovely state of Georgia in the ATL, shawty. Fannie Willis is doing her job, and she's indicted him on 90-something counts. And so he turned himself. We knew that 2 weeks ago, but he finally came in and turned himself in, got a mugshot. And he said he's all of 6'3", 215 pounds. Use a lie.
216?
6'3", 215 pounds is what he self-reported.
No.
So, yeah, that's what you missed that? That was the joke of the
No.
night.
The weight part, I always read, the height part is wrong. The weight part is probably right, but that height part needs to be brought down a couple
There's no way
right?
in the world Donald Trump is 215 pounds. No way.
If he's 5'10", he looks fat.
No.
No one's saying he's not fat. He's absolutely a fat, obese, disgusting man. It's just when you start to squish it, it gets wider.
He is
That
nobody's two. I don't care if he's 5'10", which he's not. I'll give him 6 feet. If he's 6 feet tall, he is at least 250 pounds.
And guys, for some perspective,
And take this from a guy who is 6'3" plus 250. I'm telling you, there's no way he's 200. There's quarterbacks in the league.
Guys, I am 6 feet and I am exactly 200 pounds.
Exactly. There's absolutely no way in the world Donald Trump.
He's not this size.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
Come on, man. I looked at this thing. I was like, dude, okay. I hear you trying to take a couple pounds off, not trying to look. Come on, man. So that's crazy. So in the midst of all that,
did you see the mugshots though? I wish we could pull up the mugshots. The mugshots.
Yeah, I'll pull it up. So
what?
What?
Listen, there's some people. First of all, okay, benefit of the doubt. The way they take those mugshots already makes you look crazy because they take it from a high angle. So now you're having to look up and you look nuts. But everybody in those mugshots looks like a Batman villain. Everybody's a Batman villain.
That black chick, the one that used to work for Kanye. I'm gonna have to pull her up too.
I already saw it. She looks like who does she look like? Oh, you know that movie poster, the movie Smile? It was a horror movie.
I've seen, and I don't do horror flicks, so I have not seen that movie. But yes.
You don't need to see the movie, but remember the poster, the girl with the creepy smile? That's who she looks like.
Yeah. Go away, get wired promo. So here's your Donald Trump mugshot. Of course, he's already selling T-shirts with it.
His hair looks like cotton candy.
And I think they said his hair is strawberry blonde. That sounds so much like a color that a woman would say.
But his hair is strawberry blonde. I know it sounds weird. It's that weird shade of like tint reddish, but shiny blonde. It's weird. And all that's his hair. He just takes it and he swoops it around like cotton candy. Like someone took his body and rolled it around the thing. And then you get you get the little bouffant thing that he does.
Oh my God. And we joke about this thing. And here's the funny thing. So I haven't wasted my time yet looking at his interview with Tucker Carlson. I just have not had the patience to get into that yet. But the wildest thing about me, what I watched, because I did watch a Republican debate whenever it was, Wednesday night, whatever it was. I think it was last Wednesday. And the assimilation in the Republican Party is so ridiculous that everybody on that stage had the exact same outfit. Every man had the exact same outfit on, including the moderator. They all had the white shirt, red tie, blue jacket with the American flag. And I said to myself, they don't even hide the fact that they're just puppets and just following suit. And then, just to imagine how bad Donald Trump talks about all of them. And all of them, outside of I think, Asa Hutchinson, said if he's the nominee, they'll vote for him. Nobody has any guts.
It's like some weird sycophant thing, but shout out to Brett Baer, because Brett Baer actually has pushed back on Trump in multiple interviews, and he's just like, well, no, this is what you said, and this is that, and people who watch Fox News go up against them, but it's becoming very cult-like, and a lot of Republicans and MAGA people hate when you
becoming, huh? It ain't been cult-like.
Well, what I'm saying is a lot of people, MAGA people, and a lot of right-wing Republicans hate when we say that, but he's literally been indicted. He's done horrible things. And you guys still say, no matter what, we will still support him. That's when it starts to become like you're following, what's his name? Little Applewhite, who killed all those people with them sneakers on. Or you're becoming Jim Jones in Jonestown, when no matter what anybody says, no matter the fact that he's having sex with all these people, no matter that he's being abusive, on drugs, drinking. Oh, I'll follow
Right.
him. He's a man of God, blah, blah, blah. That's what it's becoming. And watching that, reason why I didn't watch a lot of the Republican debate, because I didn't want to watch a lot of people try to have their own opinions and then turn right around and kiss ass. Who does that?
No, it's these people, and I'm sorry, Republicans. I had a, I've had, I do have a few Republican friends. I honestly do. And so you're one of them, and then I've got a
I
couple
know I
more.
am. I feel like it's me and two other people. Like, don't say a few. You mean three.
It is. I can think of three off the top of my head. All right.
I know.
So, but I like to get into conference because we have to grow, and I just don't get it, man. And here's the other thing. I probably have a lot more closet Republicans because I have a lot of friends in Christian ministry. So, some of the folks that I've talked to in that space, it just baffles me. And I just said recently, I said, man, help me to understand with all the things that he has done since 2015, why these church leaders will not back away from this guy. And it came back to those judges. It came back to the fact that the judges and abortion. And I just have to just throw my hands up and just say, okay, if that's
Here's the
all it
thing
takes
about
for him to
the
act like he really gives a daggone about that, and based on the word, of God, I know you now. You obviously your family studies Hinduism, and I don't know much about that religion at all. And I would love to get the perspective because one thing that was mentioned to me is that based on the word, nations will rise up against nations. And so this is not something that folks in the Christian faith believe that is going to ever change. This racial animus that we're dealing with, based on the word of God. Now I don't know if and if Omar is close or someone from the Hindu faith can give us some insight. Is that something that also is in that belief system? Because at this point, I know Christian leaders, I know they're like, this is not a surprise. All this that we have, blacks against whites and straight against gay and all of this is really written. It's written in the word, and it's not something that is going to get better. And it's just, to me, that's just so disheartening. But I'm starting to believe it when you have somebody like Donald Trump can do no wrong in some people's eyes.
Yeah, it's definitely disturbing, and I can't be the one to speak on Hinduism. I show
Sure,
up in my outfit and support my husband and follow what
sure,
everybody else is doing, which is sad. But
sure.
he is, and his mother's actually here too, who could probably type in the chat and explain more. But just it's a little disturbing watching Christian leaders follow him because I
Yeah.
keep saying this, and even Miguel has said this, and we are two different people. He is
Mm-hmm.
not a Republican. He has
No,
never been a Republican. He
no.
does not espouse conservative values at all whatsoever. We have
No.
all heard about this man hiring abortions for the strippers that he slept with. He has cheated on every single spouse he has ever had. He has held a Bible upside down, which
Right.
is like some occult stuff where a cross is hanging upside down in your house.
Right.
There's nothing about him. He just knew that I am white and it's easier for me to get in if I stick with the white side, because he could have tried to run as a Democrat and do the black thing, and people would have been like, "No, Donald Trump, you're great in music videos with our rappers,
Right.
but
Right.
we don't want
No.
you on that stage, sir." Like,
Correct. Because he
you
was
don't have it.
he supported Democrats financially. He's an
Absolutely.
opportunist. He's an absolute opportunist. We know that. And so to your point, if anybody in the chat or in the community can give us any sort of other faith positions, when I had this conversation with a good friend of mine, and he talked about, and I actually pulled it up today, that this is prophesied, that this is where we will be, and because that's the case, it becomes that much more concerning that what happened, for example, as we transition to what happened in Jacksonville. No gun control. For people who may not know, in Jacksonville, Florida, there was a young man. Don't know his name. Don't care to know his name.
I'll
Uh,
give you the details of the
um,
shooting.
yeah, he went into his intended target was Edward Waters University, which is
Yes.
in Jacksonville, Florida, and there was a on campus police officer who
Yes.
stopped him, ran him away from the campus, and then he decided to go down to a Family Dollar, a Dollar Tree, or one of the dollars, and killed three people. This one
Yes, he
woman,
killed three
yeah.
people. And the guy's name is Ryan Palmeter, 21 years
Hmm.
old. And it's interesting because the student saw Ryan putting on I don't know why he didn't do this in the car. And just thinking as a regular person, but he puts on the
Hmm.
vest, puts on the gloves, all the black students see him like, yo, something's wrong there, and they go get the on-campus officer who had only been working at the school for 18 months, and that officer chased him off the campus. That officer called Jacksonville PD. That officer chased him by car as far as he could without leaving the perimeter of where he's supposed to be watching. And then Bailey, the officer, found out later that he went to the Dollar General and shot and killed 3 people.
I have a theory. I have a theory on why he wanted to be found. He had a suicide note, is my understanding, that once he went into the office before he killed himself, he called his father and told him to break into his room and get his suicide note. You know, he really wanted he wanted to be caught. You know, this was his way of dying, is what I believe.
It's almost like a lot of them who do this are trying to die as martyrs.
Yeah,
which is very odd that that's what they're trying to do. But it's not even just not even just white men who are killing black people. We have white people who are going to, who are mad about something from their Christian school, like the transgender person, I don't know how they were transitioning, who shot up their old school and killed how many
Houston,
people?
Right? Was that Houston situation?
I think so. And guys, the reason why we're not going back is because there's so many other shootings that we would have to go back far enough to even get the right information. But, to add some levity to this story, and there shouldn't be levity to it, but for some reason, Dodo Dumpface Ron DeSantis thought I should go to this vigil, so I should be supportive. Yeah. And no, you can go ahead and watch this, guys.
Florida Governor Ron DeSantis is here. We're going to ask the governor if he would come down and turn the
Yeah, I think that's enough of that.
Where's Sandman? Where's the Sandman sweeping him off the stage like at the Apollo? That's how the amount of booing that was happened. But he brought this on himself. You cannot hold up black people and then tear them down at the same time. So here's the real reason why another reason why people are booing. DeSantis directs $1 million to secure historical black college, $100K for families of Jacksonville shooting. And he's also directing that a part of that money be used to build an African-American history museum. So you're giving money to a historically black college university. You want an African-American history museum to be built. You want to honor these families, but then you take away AP history, African-American history, because you say it is not important in the curriculum, or how it's taught is not important in the curriculum. Make it make sense.
Well, I'll make it make sense in this regard. When Republicans always talk about what the American people want, and Americans want this, and I'm here for the American people, they're never talking about us. So this is all performative. This was not for the people that were there. There are people that are probably out here seeing him getting booed, and they're saying, oh, those people are so ungrateful. He was there to show respect, blah, 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 blah. But we, as the people that he, are constantly being attacked by this man and his policies, we say save it, man. This type of life that you have built, this type of world that you build with your policies and people like of your ilk, you set it up for this guy to do what he did in Jacksonville.
He absolutely did. And I don't get how the Trumps of the world, they don't
care about us.
And here's what I want to say to my other brown Republican brothers and sisters, Vivek, Nikki, there's crazies in the ranks. We've already seen that there's crazies in the ranks. And you got to be careful with the things that you say. Vivek, you can't get on stage and just rap Eminem and think, oh, now I'm cool now. And, they kind of understand who we are and we like hip hop. No, that's not what this generation of right wingers, I can't even call them Republicans because I don't even think it's about politics for them. It's almost like ideology.
It is absolutely ideology. They are really at a point of us against them. And if you're not assimilating and saying you are part of the us, then you are an enemy. And there was a time where we could have these type of conversations. The more I do research, one of my frat brothers worked for Asa Hutchinson. He worked in the labor department in the state of Arkansas. And 10 years ago, when I would have not understood the difference between a MAGA and a true Republican like yourself or my man Leon. And the more I grow now the more I see the difference and I understand because Asa stood up there in that debate last week and he was a unicorn amongst that group of people. I really think that the two
Mules.
who huh?
A unicorn amongst mules.
Yeah, yeah. It really was a situation where I could see how people vote for an Asa Hutchinson. I don't understand why Republicans give no love to Chris Christie. He's a relative He's a relative moderate. He's from the Northeast. You can't be so strong, right, and win a governorship in New Jersey.
He is one chewing a piece of gum away from a heart attack or needing a gastric or
We're
needing
not
some kind of
talking about
severe.
his weight. We're not talking about his weight right now.
Okay, cool. Imagine him trying to run up a flight of stairs to go give a rousing speech at the West Point graduation. His roly-poly butt falls onto the floor. You know another thing people never forgave him for?
What's
the bridge
that?
thing in New Jersey. They never
Okay.
forgave him for that.
Okay.
And when he had the beaches closed during COVID and then took his family to the beach and they took a picture of him from Skyview.
And I get all of that. I do. But compare that to Donald Trump. Compare that to Vivek Ramaswamy. Right?
No. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying people just can't get on board. There's only one person, and I say this every time we talk about this, that Republicans will get behind, and that is my boo, Paul Ryan. But Paul Ryan apparently has decided,
Paul Ryan ain't thinking about running for nothing.
He's not. I know.
Yeah,
and
he's like
so good.
But there's no place for him in today's Republican Party. Like we thought Paul Ryan was a nut 12, 14, 15 years ago. And now it's like, I'll be honest with you, Nikki Haley was the one who, if it came down to, and she would have beat somebody from the left, I wouldn't even be tripping. I'm like, all right, okay, I get it, because she's not going to
sold her soul to the devil. That's what she did. She sold her career and her soul to the devil. She gave up all that political capital that she had to support Trump for no reason. She was a brilliant woman, kept South Carolina together when they had that awful church shooting, brought down the Confederate flag. Then you were the ambassador to the UN.
Did that by herself, but yeah, go ahead. She was forced. She was, but that's politics. All politicians have to be forced.
It only takes a man to take away a woman's thunder. Do you see what he just did? Anyway, and then
no. And I'm gonna tell you why. Because I know one of the women that was involved with that, Miss Karen Hunter, and her crew were the ones who went to Nikki Haley and pushed the issue of getting that flag down. So no, you're not gonna do that to Brother Lloyd. No, man.
As I finish my statement, but I just don't get what she thought was going to happen, giving up everything she's worked for to back Trump, and not even back him up a little bit. Just kind of be toting the line. I'm just toting the line. I'm just happy to get along. You and me must never part. But instead, she went full on. He's the best president we ever had.
Yeah, you can't do anything half-assed with Donald Trump. Everything with Donald Trump is like it's all in or no win. That's just how he rocks. And I guess they all thought that maybe he's not that bad. Yes, he's that bad. He's that bad. He ran through everybody. He ran through everybody all the way up to his Vice President Mike Pence, and just.
But
and
even
tore
before
him
then, remember when I think when everybody got really freaked out is when he said that there were bad people on both sides when Heather Heyer died. That's when everybody was like, "Oh."
Once again, it took that. That's what it took. Donald Trump and the hard right Republicans are not talking to all of America. They're talking to get control, and if they can gerrymander these states and gain control without having a consensus of people riding behind them, they don't care. And here's the thing: I'm not going to act like Democrats are much different in that regard. But at least they're not going to be right up in your face and basically saying, "I don't give a doggone about nothing that y'all saying over here on the right." This is what these right-wing Republicans are now saying. You guys don't exist. The American people want this, but what about the American people over here on the left who want this, and this? Oh, that doesn't matter because y'all don't know what you're talking about. You're not worth the attention. We're in a really, really dangerous place, and I don't know. Like I said, it's if this is what is prophesied, and if you're a Christian, you believe this is what it is. It's gonna be crazy. So anyway, moving on. Rap as we continue this part of the conversation. Rapper Eminem, as we joked last week, is Vivek Ramaswamy got up on the stage and decided he wanted to be an MC and wanted to rap Eminem's music. Eminem said, "Homeboy, don't mess with me, man. I don't get down with you."
But here's the thing: Vivek, sweetie, hip hop has already told all of y'all Republicans, don't you play our stuff, not nowhere ever. It's like 5 country guys who are cool with their music being played at the events. You hear the same songs over and over again.
Uh-huh.
You better go get it. You better ask Chris Rock if you can rap his original rap songs when he was trying to be black. Maybe that's the rap songs you can have.
Right.
But
Right.
you guys, stop doing
Right.
it.
So Eminem reached out to his record label BMI, basically told him send him a cease and desist letter. I'm paraphrasing, and if he does it again, then I'm suing him. You know, there are a bunch of people with a bunch of money, and you know, when it's all said and done, is it worth the check? You know, Eminem is been telling y'all for years, I'm not one of y'all. You know, hip hop made me, and I
But not even
respect.
that.
Yeah,
Eminem doesn't really like to be involved in minutia. This is minutia. He
yeah,
in the years he's been out, he does not like fodder, minutia, going viral, and all that kind of stuff unless he has control over it or he knows
right,
about it. Even
right.
this would have been maybe somebody Democratic. I feel like he still would have been like, "Yo, I really don't like this. I'm
Well,
not a
you know, you
fan."
think about when Eminem came out, I think it was the BET Awards probably 5 years or so ago, and he rapped a song and basically went right at Donald Trump.
Oh, he the
Eminem,
cipher,
yeah,
the
and the
cipher.
cipher, the BET cipher. Eminem has always been unapologetically respectful of black culture and of hip hop. And you can say what you want to say. I'm a marginal fan of Eminem, but I'm not a marginal fan of what I know about Eminem as far as his public persona. His music I can give or take most of the time, but he's always been respectful of the black audience,
Always,
always. And
always.
so he knows Ramaswamy does not represent the people who have helped build his career. And Eminem is at a place he's been at that place for a long time. He's one of the highest selling rappers of all time, and
He
high
doesn't need
selling
the money
musicians.
or the exposure. I think that's a cool
No,
thing about Eminem. Like he pops out when he wants to. I think his
correct.
daughter won like homecoming or something, and he kind of showed up to, hey, you won homecoming.
Yeah,
His other daughter got married. He was showed
yeah.
up there. Like he just does regular people
He
stuff,
just
and then
does,
when they
you
ask
know,
him,
he's
hey, do you
yeah,
want to perform? Yeah, I'll
right,
come perform. I'm going back home.
right. So you know, I don't know. But this guy Vivek Ramaswamy, I've been watching him the last, and he's getting a whole lot of airplay. I watched a town hall with him on News Nation the other night, and he's really feeling himself right now. He really believes he's the next one up, and
He's
it's
not.
interesting. You can't tell him that because
No,
at
and,
this
and you
point,
shouldn't. When somebody runs for political office, they should have all the gumption in the world. I mean, that's what you need for something like this. A lot
uh-huh.
of people are saying that it's between him or Nikki Haley as getting chosen as vice president. It's between those two, which I get it,
I
but
just hope Nikki Haley has more respect for herself. Is that if she were asked to take that position, that she would say no. I just hope that's what would happen, right? But you know, you're probably you're probably right. But I think Vivek is the one who really wants that job.
he does. I also wish these people who are of Indian culture, and I know I'm just Indian adjacent, I'm just the wife
Hmm.
of, a West Indian man and the
Yeah,
daughter-in-law of a West Indian woman, but
yeah.
I wish these Indian people would show off their culture more. It seems like they go out of their way to be as
Hmm.
white adjacent as possible. Vivek at least
Hmm.
keeps his real name.
Hmm.
Vivek Ramachari, that is his real
Hmm.
name.
Hmm.
Nikki Haley doesn't keep her real name.
Sure.
Nikki's her middle name, her real, and she uses it as a call name. Her real name
Hmm.
is Nimrata. You never hear her saying Nimrata. And she's like, oh,
Yeah.
no, it's not that I don't like my culture. I'm like, well, it kind of is coming off like that. We never see you celebrating any Indian holiday. I think she might be Christian, which is fine, but your culture is still specific. You never celebrate that. And let's not forget
Hmm.
about Lil Bobby Jindal. Remember Lil Bobby Jindal?
He was from Louisiana, right?
The governor of Louisiana,
Yeah.
whose real
Yeah.
name is Patek something, Patek Jindal.
Okay.
And he, again, all these people who are Republican, which is great. You can be Republican and be a person of color, but you should also celebrate who you are. It shouldn't just be, I have to be this way, so all this other great stuff is going
It's
off into the trash
all
can.
about assimilation, and that's the thing. The Republican Party really loves to see people of other cultures. When they start talking about the model minority being Asians, right? You know, and I hear this conversation all the time. Well, you know, black people are all bought and sold by the Democratic Party, and you know, I get all that, but there's no culture of people that are so disrespected so vehemently there's other cultures, like you said, whether it be Indian culture, Asian culture, and even some Hispanic culture. People say, well,
Hispanic. I mean,
how do Cubans want it? Because Cubans feel like white men
Ted
saved them,
Cruz.
the ones who made over. Ted Cruz, out of Texas, so
I didn't even know he was white for the longest time. And someone's like, no, his real name is this, and his parents are both from Cuba. I was like, what? What? That's
what do you mean? You
unfortunate.
didn't know he was what?
I
You
didn't know he was Cuban.
Oh, okay.
Did
I
you
knew
know he was Cuban?
No, well, I knew he was Hispanic. I didn't know, and I knew he was. I almost let that go. I almost let that one go. But I know he's a piece of crap. But here's the thing, we as black folks, we're always going to stand out. And the place that we are more comfortable, and there are people that are like have similar ideas, just happen to be on the left. We have a two-party system. And there's nothing in the world that tells me that the Republican Party will ever be to the point that they will care about our lives and how we build our lives. So I get all my Republican friends, black ones as well, who say, "Oh, this is the social conservatism, fiscal conservatism. You align yourself with that stuff," and I get it. But when it's all said and done, my brother, my nieces, my nephews, my cousins, and how they are treated, my own family and how they're treated, I don't feel like I need to go and sit in the lion's den and expect them not to eat me. And
no, I mean, I
have a fighting
agree.
chance on the left. I don't feel like I have a fighting chance sitting in that lion's den on the right.
I agree. I feel like if the Democrats respected black people a little bit more, then it would be better. I just feel like sometimes Democrats don't respect black people. The black vote they love, but black people as people, it's just we just need to like them because we need to vote, not because we want them to have their lives better. And we can go back and forth about this. Is not the conversation.
But we at least are in the conversation. We have a significant number of people in the room, right? There aren't, as I mentioned at the top of the show, when I watched this Republican debate, these rascals tell them don't even come dressed differently. You come to this debate, you better have your blue jacket, your white shirt, your red tie, and your American flag, or you're not one of us.
That sounds like a cult. Yeah, again, Marshall Applewhite from the Heaven's Gate cult. Black sweatshirt, black sweatpants, your black and white Nikes. You had to bring your own white, black. We'll provide the black cloth to put over your face, but everything else needs to be uniform.
It's about assimilation. I've told this story before on the show. I was invited to years ago when the NRA convention was in Atlanta. I was invited to a minority engagement event, and me and my wife decided to go. And there was when the speaker got up there and said, "The Republican Party is about assimilation," I never can unhear that ever again, because the list of what the Republican ideals are very short. We're against abortion. We're pro-white. Women need to step back, right? Pro-military, except for when it's deport. It's like the list is so short, and all we got to be pro-American. And every now and again we were watching Fox News the other day just because I wanted to get, every 6 months.
You got to refresh your brain every couple of minutes. I get it. I get it.
And even the level of watching the Mr. Pillow guy and his commercials running on Fox and knowing this guy's a pillow cultist and it's just, I don't know, man. And I know this are very smart people. It's some very, people are just getting, a lot of people just getting checks, but it's ridiculous. All right, anyway, let's lighten the load up here a little bit. We got a few minutes left. We got a little bit. We got a bit of time. What I need to find these.
Can we go fun for a few minutes?
Let's go fun. Hold on. I'm gonna hit you with the how and what graphic, and you rapid fire me because I don't know what we talking about how and what this today.
Okay, so the first thing up on How What is the documentary BS High premiered on HBO Max. Have you heard about BS High documentary, aka Bishop Sycamore High documentary?
I saw somebody posted about this person being a terrible human being. It wasn't just you, or some other folks who posted it as well. Bishop Sycamore, where's the school?
It's not a real school. He made it up. It's not a real place.
Okay, you got to catch me up. What?
So here's the story of Bishop Sycamore High School. So there was a black man who convinced a lot of junior college dropouts and college hopefuls who maybe didn't have the grades or wanted like an extra training to get up to the college level. It's a bunch of hodgepodge kids. He told these kids, we're going to be an elite football team. He tried to connect with the AME church to, build up this elite football school, kind of like an IMG academy.
Please don't pull the AME church in this. It's got something to do with the AME church.
Well, the AME church realized he had no intention of doing the school part. He just wanted the football part. So then they said, we want nothing to do with you. So he went off on his own. He, just to give you guys just to speed up a little bit, he did a lot of lying and a lot of fake things. For example, he put all these kids up in what should have been a dorm. It was an extended stay hotel. Ended up owing them, the extended stay place, $100,000 because he was treating it like a dorm. He wasn't feeding these students. He wasn't giving them any education. He would drop them off at the library. He would present their parents with a fake education schedule. And then he committed the ultimate foul, is that he had these some experienced football players go up against IMG Academy. And for those of you guys who don't know who IMG Academy, they're the most elite high school football team in the nation. And some of these guys are 19, 20 men. And IMG Academy beat them 58-0. So badly that the ESPN broadcaster was saying this game needs to be stopped. Bishop Sycamore has no idea what they're doing. We're worried about this. The athletic trainer for BS High was the boys' moms, who came out there in Daisy Dukes when one kid actually tore his ACL. And of course, she didn't know what to do. And she's in the documentary saying, he just told us we were supposed to do this and we just did it and we didn't know what we were doing. We weren't dressed. We didn't have equipment or anything like that. But after that football game, a lot of the ESPN reporters ended up deep diving and finding out that BS High School doesn't exist. It was not a real high school.
What city was it in? I bet it's in Florida. In Florida.
No, it was supposed to be the IMG of the Midwest, and I think it was supposed to be Ohio, Columbus, Ohio.
So they went all, because IMG is in Florida, so they went all the way to Florida. Florida came to them, and they scrammed up enough money. This is terrible.
It was very terrible, and it makes it even worse that when the boys found out that the coach had taken PPP loans out in their name. $22,000 for each student. He says he didn't do it, but they're all like, no, I got an email from the government that I took out a $22,000 PPP loan. Then one kid who had been on the high school team, fake high school team, actually could be a prospect at Grambling, got accepted to Grambling, full ride scholarship, was so excited. They found out that he was associated with BS High and took his scholarship away, and he was devastated. A lot of these kids had witnessed the coach abuse his girlfriend. And then when they came out and said he abused his girlfriend, like, oh, they're just liars, they're just this and that. It was, and the coach who did this is actually in the documentary acting like he did nothing wrong. It's worse than the serial killer documentary.
It's called Bishop Sycamore High.
No, it's called BS High. It's called BS High.
Very clever name. All right, so, all right, what else you got at home with? Because I got something.
You go first. What's up? What do we got?
All right, so I'm going to play this. I'm going to play this without sound very purposely. I'm playing this without sound because look at the screen. So these dentists have to be these dentists have to be stopped. So this is Eva Marcel, and of course the story around Eva Marcel right now, like you said, people said she's lost a lot of weight. First thing I saw was those teeth, and said to myself, these dentists have to be stopped. They are going crazy in Atlanta, making all this money. But the story behind Eva Marcel, she recently got divorced. I guess the divorce is final. And of course, we were
almost finalized.
Yeah, so we were talking about this a few months back about how he adopted and Michael Sterling, I believe is his name.
Michael Sterling, he's the same guy who ran for the mayor of Atlanta.
Correct. And so he adopted her daughter, I believe, or child. I'm assuming it's a daughter. And now she wants child support for this daughter that's not his child. But people are really worried about her because she's lost a lot of weight, and of course people are defending her and everything. But I can't get past her teeth. Her teeth just, I'm sorry.
So there's a reason why her teeth look so big. Her face doesn't normally look that gaunt. Her face doesn't normally cave in like that. So when you have a face where it's that, your cheeks are sucked in, your lips are pulled back now, it makes your teeth look gigantic. She looks like a horse. When she had a full face.
She's always had those teeth? Because I remember her teeth being that white and looking like Chico's, like, what is it?
But her whole face looks different.
Well, she's always had
surgery. If you pulled up a picture now of even Eva Marcel from, let's say, 2 years ago, she does not look like that. And that's why a lot of people are like, girl, how much weight have you lost? That is
Mm.
insane. It's her teeth are not, I think maybe she got a bleaching maybe, but I don't think she's gotten new teeth. I think look up a picture. I'll look
Let
at
me
it
see
too.
if
She
I,
did not look
I'm
like
gonna see if we can find something with Eva Marcel, but you're not these. I just want us to get past this stage of everybody get a little bit of money and they want to get their teeth
okay.
looking like
Same
Chicos.
teeth, different face.
Yeah.
Those are the same exact
Yeah.
teeth.
Hold
But
on,
her
let me-
face, does that face look the same as that other face we just saw in that video?
No. All right, let me pull it up so we can. This is the same picture you're pulling out. Are those
Her
the
face
same
looks
teeth?
nothing like that in that
Are
video
those
you
the
just
sa-
showed.
Now she definitely has. Let me see if I still have it here. She definitely looks different. If we go back and forth. And she might be going through trying a little weight transformation. I don't know. But and speaking of also further nonsense which is going on, have you seen these stories? Have you seen these stories recently about people claiming that Steve Harvey and Margie are getting divorced? And people, please, 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 please check your sources.
I am in New York at the MoMA, a famous museum, one of the most famous museums in the world. And I am in my phone like, oh, who cares about this Jackson Pollock? Did Steve Harvey's wife cheat on him? Like, what's happening? Is this true? But I couldn't find any valid source. And the stories also didn't make sense that she had slept with the bodyguard and the chef and wanted 400 million. And from what I saw, it seems like these rumors came from a Nigerian or South American source. It didn't seem like it came from a US source or gossip blog. So what have you heard?
That is bullcrap. Part of what I read was that that she also wanted Winton in the custody battle. Winton is 26 years old. That's the first red flag. It's just like, she wants 400 million, 200 million dollars, and then every time I went and I looked, and of course Margie Harvey, she comes out and this is what she posts. My husband and I don't usually stop to address all the foolishness and lies that have been spread about us. However, to whom much is given, much is required. I understand that with my platform comes some sort of responsibility to those that may not be as strong as we are. Read and share this with love, blah, 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 blah. So,
yeah,
and then
blah,
the
blah,
other
blah,
thing,
is a keyword. You shouldn't have responded to none of this. You wouldn't even responded.
and you look at this stuff and it's just like, but here's the thing, because it is so quick in this industry. People are so quick to want to see these great people fall. Steve was in town, and we'll try to get to it as well for the Invest Fest, which looked like it was amazing that went on here in Atlanta over the weekend. Over 20,000 people came and showed up to this event. And then he actually had to address something because it looked like it's not on his. I'm looking to see if it is on. He must have taken it down. He had to address, someone had put a post out there who worked for him. He said that he asked, what comedians do you not find funny? And so he went live and basically talked about how, hey, it's I would never do no. That's not my brand. That's not on brand with what I do. And I think Jess Hilarious supposedly was upset about it. This social media stuff got y'all real messed up out in these streets.
Why was she upset about it? Because she was the most person voted as not hilarious, as not funny.
Who knows? Like, yeah, once Steve Harvey put something out there or his account put something out there, I'm sure she was on the list of people who probably that reviewed as not being funny. Comedy is to the beholder.
It's subjective.
It's subjective, right? I'm not a big Chris Rock fan, but plenty of people. Chris Rock's had a 30+ year career in comedy, so who am I? I'm just one guy that we're like Chris Rock.
Omar hates Kevin Hart.
Right, and Kevin Hart is most successful cat that's out here right now. And oh, by the way, did you see how he got injured this weekend?
Because he's a dodo bird. He's a dodo bird. So that's another good fun, what? For some reason, this nut job, tiny little man decided he was going to race an NFL running back.
Yeah.
Why, Lord? Why? And he didn't get some, I broke my ankle, I twisted my ankle, maybe I skinned my knees when I fell hard. He tore his abdomen muscles. I didn't even know you could do that.
Yeah, Kevin Hart is in great shape. He's got his personal trainer is a part of his internal
back
circle
shape.
of friends. So and he said he probably was drinking a little bit, and he got out there, and you want to race an former NFL running back. And
who drinks and then runs? Who drinks and then decides I'm going to run a race? I've had a couple of tequila shots in me. Now I'm going to run a race.
You know who doesn't do it? 44-year-olds. But see, most 44-year-olds, we got mortgages and we got kids we got to pay for. And he's 44, he got a ton of money, and he out there hanging out like he's 15. And he realized his body said, "Homeboy, you not 15." That's something. What I saw him and old boy do, and maybe I'll find it. What I saw him and Stephen Gilmore do is something that we did when we were teenagers.
Teenagers
in the streets, and then all of a sudden you're like, "All right, man, I'm gonna race you down the block." Blah blah blah. Let's go. That's something we did when we were teenagers.
In your fancy hard bottom sneakers that you probably shouldn't be running in the first place.
Right.
You've been drinking. You have it again, and maybe I drink wrong. You know what I do when I drink? Take my Spanx off and go and lay on the couch. That's how I do when I drink. I drink a lot at Mikhail's birthday party. I couldn't wait to get my shapewear off and just sit back and. Yeah. Ooh, I done drank too much, child. It's hot.
That's where we are in this day and age, right? So and excuse the language. I'm just going. I want us to have a little fun before we close out. This is the last one, what? But
oh God,
40 is real. To all my men, women out there that are 40 years old and above, it's not a game. Respect that age. Respect that age, or that age will make you respect it. I was just forced to respect it. This is just a public service announcement because I know people may see me out, and I don't want you to be alarmed, but I'm in a wheelchair. Yeah. I'm in a wheelchair. Why? Well, because I tried to jump out there and do some young stuff. Tried to go out there and do some young man stuff, and I was told to sit my ass down. Shouts out to Stephen Wiley. I'm going to put this story out there before you do. Me and Stephen, we got into a little debate. This debate was based off of who was faster. Those that know me know I'm pretty fast.
Oh,
Stephen said, "Kev, ain't no way you going to beat me." Stephen is an ex-NFL running back, played for the New England Patriots. Very good guy. I said, "Steve, you can bet it." He said, "Bet." I said, "Bet." We get out there, we go run the 40-yard dash. 40-yard dash. Guys, I blew all my shit. Tore my lower abdomen. My abductors are torn. I don't even know what that is, but I tore them. I tore those too. I can't walk. Sit my ass down.
Here's the funny thing about Kevin Hart, man.
Oh, sorry, I was laughing. I don't know. Go ahead.
If Kevin can laugh, I'm gonna laugh with him because he's like that was an admission that was some of the dumbest crap I could have thought about doing. First of all, he was trying to raise a real dude who made money to play in the NFL.
A running back. A running back, guys. I don't even know football. Alcohol. I know what his title has running in it.
Right. Which is one of the fastest positions on the field. So I don't give a doggone how old Stephen Gilmore. I don't know how long ago. I don't remember how long ago he played. Doesn't matter. In my Kevin Hart verse, it doesn't matter. I got out there and I decided I was gonna race a former NFL player, and I tore all my stuff up, all of it. Abductor. I didn't know what an abductor is, and I just had to laugh when I saw it. The brother is laughing at himself because it was silly. We've all done it before. You trying to, I'm a blew out my Achilles playing ball. Yeah.
This just proves that Kevin Hart has no real friends. Let me give you an example. Let's say Miguel had a couple of too many drinks, and I happened to be. We had an event. Miguel's hosting. I happened to be there. Mm-hmm. Miguel had some drinks. They're like, "Oh, Miguel, come out and do 3-on-3 with us." He's like, "Oh, bet I can do it." And it's like a couple of former NBA players as his friend. I'd be like, no. Miguel, no.
Right.
Don't make me call Tracy. No. I'll call Tracy right now.
Right. First of all, Tracy would probably be there, and she'd be like, no, I'm not taking care of you if you laid up. And you don't. But she already knows. After this blown Achilles, I am so careful. But to that point, Kevin Hart is a boss. He's done this type of stuff before. People say what they want to say about Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart is a major player in marketing, in media. Major player outside of what we see in the comedy shows. He's got his own channel on Sirius XM. He's got a lot of he's got comedians that are signed to him. And he has
a tequila out.
and he's got a tequila. He's doing very well in liquor sales, and so he's doing very, very well, very, very well. But this is the type of stuff that I'm just not surprised that he made this mistake. And like I said, you got to laugh at yourself. You know, he also, if you've seen on these internet streets, him and Dr. Dre. Have you seen that video clip of him and Dr. Dre talking about Stevie Wonder? It's terrible.
No.
So
I don't watch him that often. Like it's almost like Omar said he didn't like Kevin Hart. So I'm kind of like, I guess I don't really like him that much either, and that's okay. Which is kind of sad.
It's okay. It's okay.
You know.
He's got this talk show where he interviews celebrities. He interviewed Dr. Dre, and he started talking about Dr. Dre started talking about Stevie Wonder and doing music with Stevie Wonder. Stevie Wonder was late, and they made some crude joke about, you know, that Stevie Wonder don't know if it's 5 a.m. or 5 p.m. He don't.
Okay. All right. We're going to skip past this joke because this is going to go into crazy
so
land.
Bad. I was just like, and I watched him, and Kevin, like me, is looking at Dr. Dre like, it's a laugh. It's a nervous laughter. Like, I can't believe you just said that.
It's a nervous laughter.
It's like, dude, did you really just say that about one of our legends? Like, stop it. About anybody blind. Did you just say that?
Exactly. It's not even about a legend, about anybody blind. If you see somebody blind right now, they'd be ready to cancel you into a million pieces. But before we wrap the show up, I just wanted to ask, so, and we haven't done this segment in a while, but Miguel, what are you watching? So I go down the list of what I am watching.
We are watching Lioness, the show.
We got Paramount Plus, and we ain't getting it, so...
It's really good.
That's great.
It's really good.
Download the episodes and email them to me. That would be fantastic.
So we're watching Lioness. We're watching The Shy. But, you know, with everything going on with this writer's strike right now, there's nothing really there's not a lot of new stuff that's really coming out. I watched on the plane this movie called Covenant. I thought was really good. If you've seen
Was it good? That Ben Affleck, right?
No. It's what's the dude that played in Brokeback Mountain? Jake Gyllenhaal. He's in Brokeback Mountain, right?
Yes, he was in Brokeback Mountain with Heath Ledger, who passed away.
He was. It's a movie about he is a Marine who has a translator he's a translator in Afghanistan during the Afghani war, and the whole thing was he was doing it so that he and his family could get a visa to get to America, right? And so he, you know, I won't give the story away, but when it's all said and done, the story was about their brotherhood, and it was good. Like I said, if I talk too much more about it, I'm gonna get the story away. I thought it was decent. You know, there's some parts of it that you know are dramatized, but anyway. So yeah, I watched that movie on a plane, and I'm watching The Shy, which is we're watching because we've been so committed to it, but the acting is so marginal, so fair to middling. What's your girl name from Escape that you love? That's Real Housewives of Atlanta.
Candy Burris.
Candy Burris.
She's in The Shy.
Yeah, she's in The Shy. She plays one of the main villains. She plays the main villain's
wife, right?
But she's LGBTQ, and they're like fake married. They're not really married. They fake married, and she's part of his criminal enterprise. And,
so it's like an Andrew Gillum thing.
I guess. And so
I know you couldn't laugh at that, but that's okay. Candy also came out with a movie on Peacock called The Pass, people are saying
I heard about that. Her and her husband
apparently
together?
It's very good and has one of those M. Night Shyamalan type of twists at the end that people are just like, "Are you serious?" I'm not gonna watch it because I ain't got time. I listened to the synopsis from somebody else when I heard the twist at the end. I really was like, well, I would have never even expected that to happen. So it's supposed to be very good. Candy Burris stay getting checks. That's all I can say.
Yeah, you're exactly right. She do not play in these streets. So what
I'm watching, since there are no real movies out, me and Omar are just like, let's just dive into these documentaries about sports. And I don't even get sports like that. But so far we've watched Swamp Kings Untold about UF, which is very good on Netflix.
Okay.
We've watched Untold about...
Does it talk about where the gator chop came from?
No.
You know, did they talk about gator bait? Did they talk about gator bait during this documentary?
No, they just talked about how everybody who comes from that school ends up being a failure and how Urban Meyer was a drug addict.
Oh, okay. So because gator bait, then it wasn't based on what I'm thinking. So gator bait, gator bait was the reason why people, because it's about black babies being fed to gators. You're a Floridian. You don't know that part of the story?
Only thing I know is that I come from a sundown town, and like a hardcore sundown town, and it was a sundown town until like my mom was alive, and it probably shouldn't have been.
Right.
But
Well,
yeah,
yeah.
so
The story behind the story behind Gator Bait is that they would used to
focus.
take babies
No,
and what?
focus. We're not gonna go to Gator Bait.
We,
This story about Swamp Kings just shows how nobody from UF ever did well. They never left UF and had the same glory they had as a NFL player. That's
but I
coach or
heard
player.
UF is really a high academic school in the SEC. That is a school that has
It
a
is a
high
high
academic
academic
standards.
school. So if you want to go be a doctor or a lawyer and you go to UF, it's a ticket anywhere. But apparently if you're going for athletics from this documentary, if you go on that football team, you're not going anywhere. Tim Tebow didn't really go anywhere. Urban Meyer, they tried to put him in the NFL. He was washed out after not even a whole season. Every single player on that team, nobody really did anything great. And they just really wanted to relive that greatness. And I didn't realize that Urban Meyer was a drug addict. Did you know that?
I know Urban Meyer is a piece of crap. I'm not surprised because I think he left because, and I say that because I don't like these coaches who scream about dedication from these players, but then when they get the best opportunity, they're out of there, and they will run quickly. And he retired. No, I think it was Ohio State. When he was at Ohio State, he had some issue. They said he had a aneurysm or something to do with his head, and he retired for a year, went to television, and went right back and got another job somewhere.
He went an NFL job, but he's not coaching anywhere right now. But
He's had enough failures. He need to be sitting down somewhere.
Yeah, and also another thing that was crazy, again, the drug addiction. But then when you hear about
What
how
was he
he
addicted
got
to?
too close,
Painkillers? What was he addicted to?
Ambien,
That's to get
of
you to
all
sleep,
things.
right? He just maybe can't sleep. Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, you're only supposed to take one. I think he got up to 3,
Mm,
and drinking alcohol on top of that, and he needed it.
mm,
Just became like a huge thing. So that was Untold Swamp Kings. The
mm.
other Untold was Johnny Football, because Johnny Manziel is a piece of garbage. We all know that, but
I have
it's
no interest in watching that because I knew from the
got it.
beginning he was like, this dude is nowhere near as good as they're making him out to be. But was it any good?
No. He's trash in the documentary. He sits for the documentary and he's trash in the documentary. And then my mom, who bless her sweet little brown heart, she was like, I think he got better at the end. I'm like, no, Mom, he was drinking a 40 at the end of this. Like he was drinking a tall boy at the end, living at his parents' house. Is that he got better? Like I don't know if that didn't seem like he got better. And then the
Johnny
other thing,
Manziel got a bunch of money to be mediocre, so he's winning.
he doesn't have any money.
I say he got a bunch of money. I say he still had it.
Oh yeah, he gambled a lot of it away
in the
drugs.
first place. Yeah.
Oh, the one thing about his story that I didn't know was that they had made up that his parents were wealthy. That was not true. Not even close to being true. But they had to explain how he was getting so much money when he was selling his autograph. So they just made up a story and PR'd it that his parents were wealthy. The last thing I'm watching that has nothing to do with sports is Only Murders in the Building, which is on Hulu. And that stars every white famous person
I forgot
to
one
ever
of the thing I'm
exist.
watching. Go ahead, finish. I'm gonna finish before we drop. Go ahead.
We're talking Steve Martin. They got Meryl Streep, Selena Gomez. I forget the other white guy famous's name, but it's okay. It's really funny. It's on Hulu. So if you have Hulu, watch Only Murders in the Building. What do you got that you forgot about?
I forgot about the strange addictions thing that I watched the other day.
Oh, God.
Something came across my feed on Instagram, and there was a girl. And here's the funny thing: this woman eats cushions out of sofas and cars and everything, right? And I thought, and the thing about it was, I watched that, and then I think over the weekend, I think I watched an episode of what's the one that's on MTV? When they catfish. So when they catfish people, no, it's called Catfish. And it's so crazy with this string addition thing. This girl she talked about, oh yeah, this is my blue car. It took me about 2 years to eat all the cushions out of this car. Oh, and then her sister comes on there, and her sister's like, yeah, this girl's cost me about $12,000 because she keeps eating all my furniture. This woman doesn't even look weird. She's well manicured locks, cute girl, got a 9-year-old daughter. She just looks very, very regular schmegler. And then you get to talking to her, and she's just like, this is something that she started. Her daughter says, well, how long have you been eating foam, Mom? Oh, since I was about your age, so about 20 years. And so what ended up being the part that made her, and I don't know if there's a follow-up to the story. She goes to a doctor. Her family says, hey, here's the thing. If you go to a doctor and they say everything is all right, we'll leave you alone. Because, of course, every time her family challenges her, she goes off the rails. She goes to sit down with this doctor, and this doctor basically tells her, okay, if we're gonna look at you, and if we find there's something going on, we're gonna get a coloscopy bag because it's gonna have to be attached to your intestine to pull the stuff out that's stuck in there. And all of a sudden that was what clicked to this girl. Like, well, I don't want no nasty bag on the side of me. And then she just breaks down crying and just says, I just met you, and this is the support that I wish I'd had from my mom. And I was just like, all these shows that we ingest so much are so much about, it's like a whole nother show we can do about mental illness. It's just like this girl is mentally ill based on some trauma she had as a child. And it's sad to see what she was going through. And there was another situation on Catfish where there was a woman in Turkey or boy, it was a hormone issue, and the boy looked like a girl, and she didn't want to see her face on the screen. And I said, we just exploit in these production companies this mental illness that people are dealing with, and I guess the empath in me that really bothers me.
And before we wrap up, and these shows are old. I know you're watching that they're new to you, but a lot of these shows aired in 2016 when it was kind of more voyeuristic. It was completely cool to do this. Okay. But I remember, and I talked about this with you, there was one episode of My Strange Addiction where the girl was eating her husband's ashes. And that sounds disgusting. But then when she explained it, when she explained it, that her husband was the only man who ever loved her, that he was taken away from her suddenly in a car accident, and she just wanted to be close to him. She missed having him be a part of her life. So she started to eat, like she would dip her finger in and eat the ashes or whatever. Yeah. And then when it got to the end, and her family was like, listen, this isn't it. And then she would continue, like she cried the whole episode. Every time she would talk about her husband, just tears. And you see production coming in saying, listen, so we're going to get you help, but we're going to have to work with your family to have you committed. And she ended up having to be committed because it was so much depression and so dark inside from losing that partner. I can't imagine
producing that type of content. That would cause me so much stress to have to produce that type of content. I would not last a season doing that because I just could not. I would want to wrap my arms around them every time. Like, yo, cuts, no more recording. Let's get this person help yesterday, right? And it's just, it was another woman on the same episode. She had like her hair was like 10 feet long. She had multiple sclerosis that she had developed, and the doctors told her, if you want to get better, this hair is putting too much stress on your neck and your head. We got to cut your hair. Yeah. And she said, no, I will die with this hair. So I'm just like, this world, man, that we're in right now, it is what it is. All right, so great show, even though I didn't get a chance to talk about Long Live Hip Hop, the show. If the LL Cool J Force Live show comes to your town, go see it.
You did talk about this last week.
No, the show was last Monday, and it was
last Tuesday, and you went on Monday.
The show was last Monday. I flew out on Tuesday. We did our show on Sunday, so I didn't get a chance to talk about the experience. But anyway, it was amazing.
Oh, I was trying to get you to not talk about it. Okay.
Whatever. Nobody care about you hating on hip hop. You know what I mean? You ain't got nobody. We had this conversation.
I'm kidding. How was the show? No. How was the show? Because Tracy also went to see Beyonce too. It was all like right back to back.
Tracy went to see Beyonce the week before last. I went to see LL last week. LL, Rakim, The Roots are an amazing band. Salt and Pepper needs to get some new dancers. That was the only thing I was a little bit disappointed. De La Soul was there because they, the sisters, Salt and Pepper, they in their mid-50s, right? They have some amazing up-tempo stuff, huh?
Are they in their mid-50s or are they in their late 50s, early 60s?
No, they're not in their early 60s. I can easily, you have to realize that I can easily measure these people because I know where I was when I was listening to them, and they were always like my brother's age, who my brother would have been. I'm 51, he would have been 55 if he was still living. So they're all in their mid-50s. Slick Rick's 58, and the ones that might be pushing 60, like Run DMC, they're 58, 59 maybe. LL's in his mid-50s, 54, 55. He's in that range. So they're all in their mid-50s. With Salt and Pepper, they had a lot of great up-tempo stuff, and they needed, if they had dancers around them, it would have been better performance. But everybody else was amazing. It's just
is 57 mid-50s?
Mid is 50s. Mid is 54, 55, 56. So who's 57?
Salt. Okay,
so she got 6 years on me. I can dig that. She was out in 84, 85, 86. So they need dancers. For that up-tempo stuff that they got, the dope songs they have, But other than that, but that's a small criticism. Rakim was amazing. Then Ludacris came out, and the only thing that disappointed me is that most of the dope Atlanta artists performed in Houston and Memphis. I was like, why didn't y'all perform in Atlanta? Because what they're doing is that they got the core people performing, but going to different cities, they got different people coming out on stage to perform during the show. They have this huge media wall that's got all these hip hop names that are flowing. The videos are amazing. Jazzy Jeff gets the opportunity to shine. DJ, huh?
I said, "Oh yay!"
Yeah. It was dope. It was a really, really great show. If you come to your town, don't miss it. But there's some conversation around right now. The West Coast people are like, we're not getting no love, and they said, well, we should do our own show. You should. Yeah, they should be a 50th anniversary show because most of the artists that are on this 50th anniversary LL are primarily East Coast artists. West Coast, do your show. You go up there and pull in Hammer and pull in Dr. Dre and pull in DJ Quick and E40 and all that and stream it live and I'll watch it. Wasn't the music I grew up on, but I respect it.
Let me just say this really quick before we wrap up. East Coast artists who are still alive, you're not going to get them on your tour. Who have like Dr. Dre is not coming on the 50th anniversary. He's too busy. He's going to probably want too much money. He's not going to do it. He can go
do his own show. They can do their own show in LA and they would sell out. I'm sure it would.
Probably.
Ice Cube, Dr. Dre, the DJ Quicks of the world and those cats, they would do their thing out there. I don't
know.
Snoop's on a
No, I don't know if they
right
would
now.
do it in general. Not that they wouldn't do their thing. If they would even do it in general is what I'm talking about. But, it's 9-10.
All right, y'all. We appreciate y'all. And it's been an amazing show, even though my co-host just skipped and she wanted to go on vacation. She thinks she's grown and she just skipped out on me this week. So, but we winged it.
I am grown.
Goodbye.